On today's episode, I want to talk about a best case scenario, an opportunity for both sides of the Browns fan base when it comes to what to do at pick number 2 to be happy. To quote the El Paso taco commercial, why not both? Why not get Abdul Carter and Shedeur Sanders? So we're going to talk about A, how realistic that is, and B, how it could happen. Let's look at the NFL draft order and let's start 1 through 8. A lot of people have speculated that the floor for Shedeur Sanders is around 7. That there's no way the Jets let Shedeur Sanders get past them. I'm not so convinced about that. And there's a few reasons why. One, they have a whole new front office there when it comes to head coach and GM. I think if they had the previous regime, there might be a little bit more pressure to go out and get a quarterback in round 1 because that way they can tell ownership, don't fire us yet. We just drafted a new quarterback. Give us a full year with this quarterback. Instead, you've got a brand new GM from Denver and Gerard Mayo, a head coach from Detroit. I think they are probably interested in just getting the best player. And I don't believe at 7, Shedeur Sanders will be viewed as the best player. They also just sunk $40 million into Justin Fields. They have Tyrod Taylor on the roster as well. I could see the Jets just going with Tyler Warren or an offensive lineman and saying, hey, we don't feel the pressure to reach on a quarterback, so we're just going to do what's best for our team long term because we're not in the hot seat right now. So moving on, if Sanders were to get past, say, the Giants at 3 because they signed Russell Wilson and they want to go with Travis Hunter and he gets past the Jets at 7, let's look at 9 through 16. Saints a possibility. Not going to lie, Derek Carr, the honeymoon's kind of over there, but also new head coach. He went there in part because of Derek Carr. I think he might want to add a piece that could help him immediately and not a flyer-ish on a quarterback. Bears no, Niners no, Cowboys no, Dolphins no, Colts maybe because Anthony Richardson has not worked out super well, but I just don't think so. And I say that because I think because of the way Richardson kind of flamed out, they may decide, hey, let's not kind of just swing for a quarterback again. Let's go with a more safe, best player available option. Falcons no, Cardinals no, Bengals no, Seahawks probably not, right? They got Darnold there. Unless they fall in love with him, I think not. Bucks no, Broncos no. Steelers is a possibility. If Aaron Rodgers decides to retire, Pittsburgh needs a quarterback, and even if they do get Rodgers, they might want to bring Shedeur to sit for a year, but I don't get the sense that Shedeur would be a Mike Tomlin type quarterback from his play style and a little bit of the spotlight he carries. I could be just trying to, morph the next quarterback for them into being another Ben Roethlisberger, which that's not going to happen, but I just think not. Chargers no, Packers no, Vikings no. Wait a minute. Vikings. We'll circle back to the Vikings. Texans, no. When we get to the end of here, none of these teams need a quarterback. These are all teams that I think would be very open to trading out of the first round because it's not a very, star-studded draft class. I think there are some good depth positions in this class. I don't think it's like the weakest one ever, but it's not one of the stronger ones. And I could see one of those teams picking 25-ish to 32, getting more picks and just trading back. So one idea I cooked up was, how about the Browns and the Vikings make a deal where Cleveland jumps back into round 1 from their 33rd overall pick, gives Minnesota the pick they got from Buffalo for Amari Cooper late in the 3rd, and then tosses in a 6th-rounder. According to the NFL trade value chart, this is actually a bit of an overpay for pick 24. And I could see the Vikings chomping at the bit here because Minnesota only has 4 draft picks. So they'd be turning 24 into 2 more top 100 picks and an extra day 3 pick. So I could see a lot of interest from the Vikings, and Andrew Berry has a good relationship with the Vikings GM, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, who used to work in Cleveland. So all this really comes down to one thing. Will Shedeur Sanders slide? I think there is a better chance of this happening than what people want to give it credit for. I think a lot of teams don't look at Shedeur as a first-round prospect, and I think there's some evidence of that by how aggressive some teams in search of a quarterback have been in the free agent market. Why do the Giants go out and sign go out and sign Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson if they really want Shedeur Sanders? Doesn't seem like the Browns are going to take him at the moment. I think there is a lot of momentum behind Shedeur sliding a little bit. And the first 5 picks looking something like Cam Ward, Abdul Carter to the Browns, Travis Hunter to the Giants. The Patriots beef up their offensive line. The Jags take Mason Graham. They don't need a quarterback with Trevor Lawrence. And then at that point, it may be a little bit of a free fall for Shedeur. And I could see a team willing to trade back into round 1 to get Sanders so they can have that 5th-year option on him. I'm getting slight Will Levis vibes from Shedeur in terms of not his play style, but his profile, his stock right now going into the draft. No one really seems to say with much confidence they see him as a first-round quarterback, but he's just the second best quarterback in this class. And we always have like at least 2 quarterbacks go in round 1, and usually at least 2 go in the top 10 to 15. I think there is a greater chance, and I'm willing to be wrong about this and laughed at in 3 weeks when the draft starts. So clip this and come back to it when the first round is over. I think there is a very, very good chance that Shedeur Sanders gets picked closer to 32 than pick number 1. Now, in this mock, I said the Browns get Abdul Carter at number 2. I don't want to gloss over that. There's something I want to talk about with Carter that I don't think we have given enough attention to. Abdul Carter, ladies and gentlemen, is just 21 years old. The biggest knock on him has been the lack of play strength. Like, can he really anchor down a defensive line? Can he be like a bull against the run? Can he just squat himself down and make sure no one gets past him? We know he's got the speed and the burst, but we haven't quite seen the pure raw strength. The guy's 21. How many 21-year-olds do you know are at their peak physical strength when they're just getting a real ID? I don't think there's many. I think we see this a lot in like baseball, for example, where when prospects are coming up and whatnot, when they're young, the bat speed isn't super high, and then as they get a little bit older, they start to put on some like man strength. And next thing you know, that bat speed is up, the exit velo is up, and they look like a real big leaguer. I think the only fair knock that you can come up with Abdul Carter on the field is the play strength. And I think at 21 years old, it's fair to assume when he's 24, 25 in a few years, he's going to have that figured out. So I love this selection for the Browns. I think pairing Carter with Myles Garrett, no, it does not translate to going 16, 17-0, whatever it may be, but I think it does give you the best player, and it puts an incredible defensive duo on your roster up front. And while I wish the Browns had the opportunity to solve their quarterback issues at pick number 2, I don't believe it's there. So because of that, I'm not going to force it. And I'm just going to put together the greatest defensive line in the National Football League. If you can't score points, I'm going to try my absolute best to stop the other team from scoring points. And that means putting Garrett and Carter opposite of each other, which we really never had a good Batman and Robin duo for Myles Garrett. Like, had it for Clowney for a minute, and then it just bottomed out. Kind of had it with Zadarius Smith, and then he's traded. I would love to see Garrett and Carter work side by side while Garrett's still in his prime for the next 5 years. And then at that point, Myles will be 34-ish years old, and Carter will be 26. And you kind of pass the torch from one defensive legend to another. Now, I understand that you still have to figure out the quarterback issue. I get that. I'm here to say for the 100,000th time, this is not a good offseason to need a quarterback. So I'm not going to waste the second overall pick because people online say, well, you're not going to score points with Abdul Carter. Yeah, I don't think I score a lot of points with the other quarterback options out there as well. But I can sure as hell stop the other team from scoring points. Now, some Shedeur Sanders background, because in this idea, we're talking about trading up from pick 33 to get him in round number 1. You guys can look at his stats, and man, did he put together a really strong season in 2024 for Colorado. 4,100 yards, 41 total touchdowns. There's a lot to like about Shedeur's game. The accuracy is definitely on point. It's his calling card. The toughness, he was sacked 99 times over the past 2 seasons. He's got a good frame for a quarterback, 6'2", 215 pounds. There is plenty of pros when it comes to evaluating Shedeur Sanders. For me, I don't think the pros make him second overall good. I think if you're taking a quarterback that high in the draft, the expectation is, hey, this is an absolute game changer. Like, this is a difference maker for us. And what we're going to do is we're going to use Shedeur Sanders to all of a sudden rejuvenate our entire offense. I don't want to, well, I am being a doubter, so I guess I'm not going to like pussyfoot this. I am being a doubter when I say I don't think Shedeur is talented enough to take the Browns roster and make them good. I think Shedeur is talented enough to go to a team, sit for a year or two, and then if he steps into a good situation with a lot of firepower around him, he can kind of keep his head above water. I think he'll drown in Cleveland. Now, after picking Shedeur at 24, the Browns have to wait all the way until early in round 3, since they no longer have the first pick in round 2. And with pick 67, I would go with Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State. Now, this is a tough one just because you don't know who's going to be available at pick 67. You might have a different preference, like a different Ohio State running back, and he might go 15 spots before that. But I feel loosely confident that Judkins could be there at 67 and that this would be an all-around good pick. He was prolific at Ole Miss. He was first-team All-SEC. He was SEC Freshman of the Year. Then he goes up to Columbus, is a huge part of that Buckeye offense that won the national championship. He's got good size for a back, 6 foot, 221 pounds, ran a nice 40-yard dash. He's a pretty well-rounded back. I don't think he is a back that stands out in one area and really lacks a lot of skill at another area. He definitely has a little bit more of a power side to him than a pure speed side to him. But at pick 67, this felt like a really good pick for the Browns to help bolster up their running back room. And we know Andrew Berry likes going with guys out of Columbus. So, if this were to be the Browns draft, how would you grade it? Abdul Carter and Shedeur Sanders. Both parties are satisfied. Fans that wanted Carter, get him. Fans that want a quarterback, get him. And then I added in a running back because that is a big need for this team right now. How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Keep in mind, the only real cost here is you don't pick at 33 and you don't pick again in round 3. So Shedeur Sanders does cost you in a way 3 selections. You use the 24th overall pick on him, but you were going to use that pick on someone. So really, in my eyes, he cost you 2 additional picks. 33 and then like 93, whatever the Bills pick is. Before I give you my grade, I do want to tell you guys about the awesome Browns draft hats available at chatsports.com/CLE draft. If you want to get the official Cleveland Browns 2025 NFL draft hat, use our link. I put it in the comments and description of today's video. I would give that draft right there an A-. An A- because I don't have a crystal ball, but I still do not believe Shedeur Sanders is going to be this franchise quarterback that a lot of people want/think he will be. Quarterbacks are always difficult to diagnose and predict. Go ask Chris Sims about that and how well Kellen Moore worked out. But I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got the franchise quarterback aura around him. So I know a lot of you do. And in this situation, both parties are happy. Andrew Berry gets an incredible player at number 2. Kevin Stefanski gets a new quarterback in the draft. And they toss in a running back because why not? All right, let's round out today's episode by picking a card. Reed, which card do you want to go with?
Ace of clubs.
Ace of clubs. Okay. I'm going to go with Queen of Hearts. I feel dangerously good about this one too. No. 7 of spades. 7 of spades. Keith almost got it with 7 of hearts. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to sign off and see you all later.